SaaS pricing metrics. There are 3 different overall types of pricing metrics that you can use in order to create your SaaS pricing. Now, should you use one of them? Probably yes. Most pricing metrics are better than having no pricing metric at all. So the other version of pricing would be have just a flat fee. So use my software, it costs $1,000 a month, versus use my software, it costs, let's say, $1,000 per something, per user, per content library, whatever it is, per server, per month. So if you have a metric, the argument goes, you get to scale up or down with the value that you deliver. So in other videos, I go much more into sort of how to choose and evaluate different pricing metrics and what you can do. But here I just want to point out the 3 different kinds there are overall, how they're different, and what they are, let's say, best used for. So the first kind of pricing metric is a license-based metric. So a license is a right to use something. So I buy a license for a seat, so I have a right to put a user on the software. Whether I do so or not, I still pay. So the good thing about licenses is that they are essentially delivered on the first day of the agreement, right? So I can charge for them up front. So if I have a license for a year, I can charge on January 1st. Then you own that right for the rest of the year. You can put on a user or not. On the downside, I have to, as a customer, take the risk of not using it, right? So I buy the license, but if I don't use it, I will regret it at the end of the year, feeling that I have overpaid. So I will probably at the beginning of the year buy as few licenses as I think I need, and then only incrementally move forward from there. Whenever I buy a new license, it's probably because I have a high degree of confidence that I am going to use it. So that is the drawback, is that the expansion of license-based models is pretty slow because users are fearing the potential regret in overcommitting, and hence they're moving a little bit slower along their adoption path. Now, the next type of pricing metric is the usage-based metric. Essentially, the user-based metric is a complete reverse of the license-based, which is, well, you only pay once you have used something. So all of the consumption metrics are similar to this. So they say, well, we price whatever 0.001 per API call, or we price per active user last 12 months, or active user last 30 days, whatever it is. So we give you free access to the software. You can then run around and use it as much as you like. And then at the end of the period, December 31st, I will then look at your usage and send you an invoice. So cash flow, really bad because I can only charge them after the fact. But adoption, really good because the customer is less aware. They don't have the overcommit issue at all. So I'm not committing. Whenever I need something, I just start using it and then I will pay for it later. That's great. And then presumably my adoption of the software happens faster than it otherwise would, so the account grows more quickly. This is what we have with a lot of the different sort of developer tools and platform plays and so forth, which is, oh, they're really, really, really cheap to get started on. Maybe they're actually free because we say, well, the first usage is free. And then as I go above a certain threshold, I have to pay something. And the more I use, the more I pay, and everything is beautiful. And if I run it into maybe like a monthly model, the cash flow isn't as bad because at least I get paid at the end of every month instead of every year and so forth. So this is how the usage-based model is different. A lot of people like it, and it is really good for especially tools that require a lot of expansion, where you can start really small, but the potential inside the organization is really, really big. Then usually user-based models are the best. However, we also have a third option, which is a credit system. So a credit system is a pre-purchased right to a future use in an undetermined period. So let's say January 1st, I buy the right to have an active user at some point in the future. And then maybe I buy a similar right the next month or the next month or the next month. The best known credit system that most people know is Audible. So the audiobooks, so they have a credit system where every month I get, I think it's 2 credits for audiobooks. And then I don't do anything. I don't go in and download the audiobooks. So the month after I have 4 credits, and then I have 6, and then I have 8. And then when summer comes around, I like, hey, I have all these credits on Audible, and I go in and I have like, whatever, 10 credits or 12 credits. So I download a lot of audiobooks, have my vacation and so forth, but I don't cancel. I stick with my subscription because I feel I got all the money's worth of it, but I paid for my non-usage January, February, March, and all through until the summer vacation. And then I kept paying without canceling because I know that I will have future consumption again, and it's fine for me to just save up for that. So credit systems are really good whenever I want to level out very seasonal consumption or usage, because maybe I have like a spike in the summer holiday, as with Audible, or I have like it's marketing software and I have a spike around Black Friday and the holidays, but not a lot in the summer holidays or whatever it is. And I want to even it out over the year. I want to run sort of a recurring model on it. And also in some, let's say, venture or VC spreadsheets, usage-based modeling can be a little bit harder to evaluate from sort of enterprise value perspective, because it's not committed. It's what they call reoccurring revenue, so it is not recurring revenue, so there's no contract on it. Whereas on credits, you can get a contract on it. You can say, hey, I'm buying these credits every month. It's a subscription. It is essentially a license to a future usage. And yes, they accrue in my account, but we have sort of the guaranteed consumption. We just don't know when, but we get the money now. So you could say that credit models is to some extent the best of both worlds, except that they have the drawback that they are harder to sell. Like, they're harder to explain. It's more often a case where it's a little bit sort of a bigger lift to sort of like explain what a credit is, what happens if I cancel, the terms and condition becomes more important. The sale is less obvious in a lot of instances. So you can almost say that we have these sort of 3 parameters for evaluating these 3 types of metrics, where one is the cash flow profile, one is the expansion profile, and one is the sale profile, and they have different strengths, each of them, right? So you can say, well, the license-based metric is really, really strong on the cash flow profile, is medium strong on the sales profile, and is medium strong on the expansion profile. Whereas the usage-based metric is really, really strong on the expansion profile, probably really, really strong on the sales profile, and really, really poor on the cash flow profile. Whereas the credit model is really, really weak on the sales profile, but really strong on the last 2, on the expansion profile and on the cash flow profile. So it's just like pros and cons for each of them, and you need to figure out what works best for you. But that essentially is the framework. Hey there. So I create these videos for free so that you can take your great SaaS product and turn it into a great SaaS business. So if you like the video and you got value from it, you should, of course, subscribe to the channel and also tell a friend. So write someone and say, hey, you're in SaaS, this guy talks about SaaS, maybe there's something in there for you. So that is the only way that this channel actually grows, or these videos gets around. And this is sort of how I try to provide value to everyone. I have a network of clients that I have, and I get most of my business from referrals only. So the reason I make the videos and write the books and so forth is actually to just provide value to everyone else, because I can only be in one place at a time. So my hope with all these videos is just to do more good in the world. And if you tell a friend or you share, you can help me do that. So thank you.